What's up, everybody? Rinat here, and you're watching MMA Fight. UFC 320 is in the books, and with it, the highly anticipated rematch between Magomed Ankalaev and Alex Pereira. In the co-main event, Merab Dvalishvili made his third title defense against Corey Sandhagen. But those two fights are covered in a separate video on the channel. Beyond the title bouts, there was a ton of top-tier action. Prochazka versus Rountree, Emmett versus Zalal, Pifer versus Abus, Shabazyan, Gody, Mix, Basharat. The card was stacked, and you're about to find out how all the fights went down. Let's get into it. Veronica Hardy, after a 3-year hiatus, went on a 3-fight winning streak, but last November that run was snapped by Eduarda Mora. Her opponent, Brogan Walker, has significantly fewer UFC bouts under her belt. The American suffered 2 consecutive losses and hadn't competed in over 2 years after her second defeat. Veronica Hardy absolutely delivered on her clear favorite status. She was superior in every aspect, securing takedowns and maintaining control in the first round, dropping her opponent to the canvas in the second. She grappled and outstruck her, and only the third round offered some semblance of competition, but even that went to Veronica Hardy. She wins by unanimous decision, 30-27. Ramiz Brahimaj put on 2 brutal finishes in a year and a half, earning 2 well-deserved $50,000 bonuses. First, he knocked out Mickey Gall, and then this past May, he choked out Billy Ray Goff. Austin Vanderford transitioned to the UFC after a long career in Bellator and had his first bout in February of this year. The American delivered a powerful performance against Nikolai Veretennikov, finishing the fight with ground and pound in the second round. The fighters started the first round cautiously. Midway through, Vanderford landed a good high kick and took his opponent down, essentially holding Brahimaj down for the rest of the round and taking the 5 minutes. In the second round, Brahimaj pressed forward to even the score, landing several heavy shots to Austin's head. Austin looked rocked and started desperately shooting for takedowns, but he was only met with brutal elbows, making his situation worse. Ultimately, going for another takedown, Brahimaj caught him in a submission. Austin taps, and Brahimaj celebrates a comeback victory, winning by finish in the second round after losing the first. Farid Basharat maintains his status as a dangerous prospect, riding a 4-fight winning streak in the UFC and remaining undefeated in his career. He often resorts to grappling in his fights, securing confident decision victories, but he won't shy away from a finish if the opportunity arises. Chris Gutierrez, on the other hand, is a true veteran of mixed martial arts. He's stepping into his 30th career fight on a 2-fight winning streak, having defeated John Castaneda in his last outing. The first round started cautiously, much like the previous fight, and again, only midway through did things pick up, specifically a takedown from Basharat and basic control to secure the round, making it 1-0. The second round was more action-packed, with Basharat getting the better of Chris on the feet. A series of strikes badly rocked Chris, who managed to recover, only to then be caught by a clean counterpunch over the top. Chris absorbed punches for the entire 5 minutes, making it 2-0. Surprisingly, Chris took the third round. He looked like a different fighter, outstriking Basharat, rocking him, and expertly countering in the grappling exchanges, even ending up on top. His fans must have thought, why didn't he fight like that from the start? In the end, he won the third round, but lost the fight. Farid Basharat wins by unanimous decision, 29-28. Macy Chiasson failed to make weight for a bout, forfeiting 25% of her purse to her opponent. In May, Macy lost to Kitlin Vieira, but her 2 prior finishes helped her remain in the top 5. Yana Santos is on a 2-fight winning streak, having defeated Chelsea Chandler and Miesha Tate. In today's fight, the Russian has a good opportunity to climb the rankings. Yana had an excellent first round, landing knees to the body, outstriking Chiasson on the feet, and landing a precise elbow to Chiasson's nose on the exit from a clinch, breaking it. Yana clearly won the first 5 minutes. The second round was closer, both statistically and visually. There was a lot of clinching and strikes landed in the clinch. Towards the end of the 5 minutes, Yana threw a front kick that landed flush to the head, seemingly marking who deserved to win this competitive round. Chiasson confidently took the third round, landing ground and pound and attempting submissions, but the first 2 rounds went to Yana, so she wins by unanimous decision, 29-28. Earlier this year, Punahele Serrano scored a brutal knockout against Urosh Medic, extending his winning streak to 2. Nikolai Veretennikov started his UFC career with 2 losses, but finally secured a much-needed victory in his last fight against Francisco Prado. Can the fighter from Kazakhstan handle the wrestling-based Serrano? Let's find out. For all 3 rounds, Punahele Serrano just held Nikolai down. He secured takedowns and maintained top control with hardly any active striking, just control. Mijovic Silai attempted a guillotine several times during the fight, but it didn't pan out. The result was a rather dull fight and a unanimous decision victory for Punahele Serrano. Edmen Shahbazyan has managed to string together 2 wins for the first time since 2019. After a series of setbacks, Shahbazyan has now won 2 fights in a row. First, he knocked out Diller, and then he won a unanimous decision against Andre Petroski. His opponent, Andre Muniz, started his UFC run very aggressively, submitting opponent after opponent. But in his last 4 fights, the Brazilian has only 1 win. His previous fight was a knockout loss to Ikram Aliskerov. Andre Muniz caused problems for Edmen in the first round. And no, not with his grappling, as many might expect, but on the feet. Muniz was confidently winning the round until in the final seconds, he ate a shot in an exchange, looked wobbly, and Edmen unleashed a barrage of punches, eventually finishing his opponent via referee stoppage with only 3 seconds left on the clock. Edmen Shahbazyan wins by knockout in the first round. Patchy Mix transitioned to the UFC after his second Bellator title defense. He debuted this June, but for some reason Mix couldn't get anything going. He was inactive and fought a very passive fight against Mario Bautista. Perhaps it was debut jitters or a difficult weight cut. Today, Mix's opponent is Jakub Wicklacz. The Pole has an undefeated streak of 7 fights and is a 3-time defending KCW champion. In the first 5 minutes, Wicklacz landed some good shots on the feet, and Mix started to grapple with him. He was successful for a while, but the Pole escaped and not only got out, but even took mount position himself. He couldn't do much with it, but the debutant takes the first round. The second round is difficult to award to Mix. He was slightly better on the feet and in grappling, though the round was competitive and could easily have gone to the newcomer. Mix landed a few good shots and was ahead in takedowns. In the third round, Mix completely shut down Wicklacz on the ground, a total snooze fest, but the round went to him. It all went to the judges, who awarded the victory to Wicklacz via split decision. And I can't argue with that. The second round was close and could easily have gone to Wicklacz. Daniel Santos requested for today's fight to be moved to a catchweight. The Brazilian is on a 3-fight winning streak, having only lost in his UFC debut. Jun Young Park, on the other hand, has a loss on his record. The Korean burst into the promotion with one of the most brutal knockouts in 28 seconds. Now we need to find out if that was a fluke or not. Santos outworked the Korean in the first round. Park also landed some shots but played to the crowd a lot and lost the grappling exchanges. Both fighters came out energized for the second round, but Santos' charge was more powerful. He knocked out his opponent early in the second 5 minutes, and Daniel Santos wins by knockout in the second 5 minutes. The Cameroonian monster Iba Godi continues his ascent towards the top. Godi earned a UFC contract after winning on Contender Series and has already had 2 fights here. First, he knocked out Hosami Dinu and then Robert Valentin. This will be his 3rd fight in 2025. Tristan Vine steps in on a week's notice, replacing Ozzy Diaz. The American has competed in regional promotions and is currently on a 4-fight winning streak. Can he offer any challenge to Godi? Let's see. Godi came out and steamrolled his opponent, just as expected. The guy immediately seemed very wary of Godi and tried to take him down, but he misused his physical strength to throw him to the ground and land a couple of follow-up shots. The fight was over very early. Iba Godi wins by knockout in the early first round. The main card opened with Joe Pifer. He suffered his only league loss to Jack Hermanson and since then bounced back with 2 wins, a brutal knockout over Marc-Andre Barriault and a decision over Kelvin Gastelum. Abus Magomedov, his opponent, returned after 2 losses and won 3 consecutive fights. Both Abus and Pifer are 1 step away from breaking into the top 15. A win tonight is crucial for both. Pifer was the first to attempt grappling, and it was a mistake. Abus countered, ended up on top, and did whatever he wanted for the entire round. Landing strikes and attempting submissions, Joe got up once but was emphatically slammed back down, a clear round for Magomedov due to his grappling. At the start of the second round, Joe threw an overhand that landed near the ear, and Abus looked wobbly. Then Joe threw the exact same overhand, and Abus dropped to a knockdown. On the ground, Joe first worked with strikes, then attempted a few chokes, and finally, one of those was successful. Joe Pifer chokes out Abusupyan Magomedov in the second round.
Over the last 6 years, Josh Emmett has only lost to top-tier fighters, Yair Rodriguez, Ilia Topuria, or Ron Murphy. In December, he brutally knocked out Bryce Mitchell, proving that at 40, he's still operating at the highest level. Youssef Zalal was once cut from the UFC after 3 consecutive losses, then won 3 fights outside the promotion and returned. Since his return, he secured 5 wins in 3 years and has entered the top 10. Is he truly a top contender? This fight with Josh Emmett will provide those answers. In the very first minute, Youssef Zalal secured a takedown on a scramble, and by the second minute, he locked in an armbar. Yes, who would have thought Zalal would dispatch the veteran so quickly in just a minute and a half? Well, now Youssef is officially in the title picture. Jiri Prochazka knocked out Jamal Hill this January, keeping his name in the list of title contenders. After the fight, the Czech took a break and then signed a contract to fight Khalil Rountree. The American was on a 5-fight winning streak but couldn't overcome Alex Pereira. He's since bounced back from that loss this summer in Azerbaijan. That wasn't the most exciting fight, and yet again, Jamal Hill served as another stepping stone in the title race. In the very first round, Rountree landed a lot. He also threw a lot of air shots, but several heavy body kicks, some wide head kicks, and a high kick all landed cleanly. Prochazka absorbed every single strike, but only landed one good jab himself, and that was it. Rountree 1-0. In the second 5 minutes, Rountree was still better in the boxing exchanges, landing more strikes, but Prochazka continued to execute various unorthodox moves, flying knees, spinning elbows. Unfortunately, none of it was effective. His only effective strike was a jab. The third round was pure madness. Prochazka stormed forward, throwing everything he had. Front kicks to the body, elbows to the head, strikes from a million different angles. Rountree started getting caught and looked disoriented. Prochazka kept pressing, chasing him around the octagon until, quite literally, Rountree collapsed face down. It was unbelievable. You have to rewatch the entire third round. It's insane. Jiri Prochazka wins by knockout in the third round. What do you guys think of UFC 320? If you missed the main events, head over to the channel for the full breakdown. Drop your comments below, let me know who met your expectations tonight, hit that like button, and I'll see you next time, friends. Peace out.